Okay, well, I think I'll make a start, and then hopefully if anyone joins, they won't be too far behind. So just hello and welcome to this, our penultimate webinar in our Plymouth Science Park Business Essentials series. It's lovely to have you all with us today. I'm delighted to introduce this week Simon Taylor, who is Employment, Engagement and Placement Manager, and Annette Goddard, Student Engagement Officer, and also heads up the professional mentoring program at Plymouth University. So welcome both of you.
Thank you.
Today, Simon and Annette will walk you through the many ways in which the University Career Service can support your business in gaining access to the wealth of student talent coming out of the University of Plymouth. But just before I hand over to them, I would just like to say that if you have any questions during the session, then please pop them in the chat and we'll deal with the questions right at the end. And please, the more questions, the better. So we'll have a little Q&A session at the end. So yeah, without further ado, I'll hand over to Simon and Annette.
Thank you. Hopefully this will work. Slides share okay. Can you see those?
Yes.
Yeah, all good. Fantastic. And good to be here. Thank you, Faye. Thank you for inviting us. I'm looking at another screen with the slides, so forgive me if I'm not always looking directly at everybody. So yeah, here we are. We're here to talk to you today about the very many ways that you can engage with the career service, with the kind of title of attracting the brightest talent. My name's Simon Taylor and I'm the Employer Engagement Placements Manager, as Faye mentioned. So within my team, everything to do with work placements, internships, employer engagement in general, the different events that we run, etc., all falls within my team. And we'll be going through all the different ways that you can engage in the following slides. So there we are. So just a little bit about the university. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the university, obviously. Won't read all of this, but you know, it's a fantastic institution. It is a big institution, certainly for the area, but as a university overall, we do have many students and many staff. But just touching upon the sort of the students themselves, you know, quite a number that we do have, and therefore a huge alumni network as well. And I think that leads quite nicely on to looking at Southwest as a region. I thought it'd be good to just sort of touch upon that really, because Plymouth are quite unique really with the students that we have and the amount that come from the local area. So circa 65% of our student cohort are from the Southwest. You know, as a university with our sort of geographical location, it's quite unique in that respect. But you know, there are many other universities that will have maybe 10% from their local area, for example. So Plymouth are quite unique in that way. So I think when you're thinking of attracting the brightest talent, there are a lot of students and therefore graduates that are from the area studying at their local institution that look to stay. And there you have 45% of our students, sorry, 45% of students from the Southwest will study in the Southwest. So that's more of a Southwest type stat. And 86% will then stay in the region to work. And of those who left the region, 49% returned to the Southwest. So as you can see, it's a popular place to be. We obviously know how great it is. And I think the students and grads, certainly once they're here, if they're not already from here, often stay. And just to touch upon the many different areas and sectors that students or grads go into, health, education, business, engineering and research, manufacturing and tourism. Those are all the top sectors for the Southwest that grads go into. So I hope that's useful to just sort of see that summary. So why do businesses look to engage with the career service? There are many ways really. We tend to break it down into the following areas, which will then go into more detail. So resource related, absolutely. You know, we have a lot of talented grads that leave the university, and a lot of good businesses do engage with us to attract and find those talented individuals. So placements, internships, grad roles, casual part-time work as well, which I'll touch upon shortly. Raising company profile, so we have many events, so we'll be talking about that, many different ways that businesses can engage via the events that we run. And the other theme being sort of giving something back, and Annette's area with mentoring comes in with the other areas above as well. But you very much get that feeling with mentoring that it's giving something back. Very good CPD for staff. So areas that we can help with from a career service angle, raising company profile is a key one. We work with a lot of businesses that, you know, they're quite aware that they might be competing with bigger brand names, that type of thing. So we as a service can be that kind of gateway to the student and grad network, so we can help raise profile. We can also advise on the timing of your recruitment and engagement. We often get asked, when's the best time to advertise the roles, that type of thing. So we as a team can help and talk that through. Advertising opportunities for free. So I'll be mentioning later, we've got a fantastic platform called My Career, and that you can have access to that. You can have your own account. You can advertise placement roles, grad roles, internships, part-time work for free to thousands of students. So it's a fantastic platform to be part of. Recommended relevant subjects to target. We often get approached by employers not quite sure which subjects to target or not to target. So again, we can talk that through. And in some cases, it might be that you have a role in mind and you aren't necessarily aware that a particular subject would also study that, for example. So we can help with that. Creating links to school and faculty program level, absolutely. So different subjects have industrial advisory committees or panels, that type of thing. And they're often on the lookout for employers, contacts that might be interested to be part of those. And we can also be a bit of a gateway to discovering other projects and funding opportunities available to you. So we've got the enterprise within the other part of the university. We've got research and innovation. We've got the enterprise team, our colleagues in there, and there are many different ways that you can engage via the business services, via enterprise, which we can help make an intro for you. So looking at recruitment as an area, common recruitment challenges. So worked in the career service for about 8 years now. Before that, I worked for 7-8 years in recruitment, recruiting for accounts, finance, some IT. So know only too well the challenges of recruitment, particularly for SMEs. And again, this whole bit around competing with larger companies and brand names, that's something that can come up quite a bit. Raising profile, lack of student awareness. So again, all these bits that we've said that we can help with can also be obviously this sort of challenge for a business as well. Very aware of the cost of recruitment fees, agency fees. They can be really quite steep. You know, if you've got a good agency, then that's fantastic. But it's certainly a consideration. And you know, always view, I think, what we can do via the career service is not quite a recruitment agency, but there are a number of things you can do that can really help you get the right people. Time to recruit and train staff, retaining talent, all those sort of things are classic things that come up as common recruitment challenges. I would hope you'd agree. So looking at that as a theme, so placements and internships are two really good ways to be attracting and sort of making sure you're getting the right people on board. I think the key thing with this though is it's making sure that you'll find it was at undergraduate level before they've even left. So looking at placements and internships, the key benefits, just touching upon those. Firstly, from a student's angle, I mean, the point of them doing this is for them to develop their employability skills. That's the key thing. So it's not just all about coming to uni and just doing the degree. It's about anything that they can do whilst they're with us to give them that competitive edge at the graduate level. So developing key employability skills, the key ones that often come up, things like teamwork, communication skills, analytical skills, commercial awareness, that type of thing. So really huge for them if they can get involved with a placement and internship. Obviously, by doing that, they'll have gained in confidence in many areas, help to make informed career choices. So no better way to kind of see whether an area is right for you than actually doing it for a year or a number of months or weeks. So that's certainly a key benefit. Developing their own network, another really important one. You know, if a grad can leave university, have developed key skills, plus have developed a bit of their own professional network, then that will set them in good stead. And obviously earning money is always a bonus. So looking at benefits from a business angle, I think the great thing with placements and internships, there isn't a long-term commitment from you. You know, it could be that you can engage with that offer at a time when you need to. And it's not a permanent headcount as such. Extra resource for busier times. So again, it might well be that you've got a lot coming up, and actually to have someone on board for a year or 6 months or a couple of months, a couple of weeks would be of benefit to you and of benefit to the student, obviously. And there's no doubt about it, they really do bring fresh and innovative ideas and enthusiasm to the roles, and it's amazing what people can get achieved in a short period of time. So yeah, feed your future talent stream, identify your next generation early. That's the key thing, really, because everybody obviously would love to have the best grad and comes to us and say, well, we want good grads coming through, and there's no better way to identify those than finding them at the undergrad level before somebody else has. So those are the kind of benefits, and I'm now just going to touch upon placements or work placements firstly. So you'll be familiar with probably the different titles. So work placement, placement year, year in industry, sandwich year. So that's what we're talking about here, really. It's something that we've done at Plymouth for many years, and that we've been, that we're good at doing. So you're talking about your 1 year working for a business that takes place after the second year of the student's studies. So their third year is with that organisation, and then they come back and complete their final year at university. There should be some relevance to the degree subject, but it doesn't have to be all about the degree subject, because the other reason for doing a work placement is to be gaining work experience and see what that world of work is all about. So as long as there's some relevance to the degree subject, that's all good. We're often asked, what kind of salary is a work placement. So it's gone up over the years, as you'd imagine, but you're looking at anything between 16.5 and 19, really, to pay somebody. So they would be with you for that 1 year on that salary, with normal leave and everything. View it as a fixed term contract. And cycle wise, you're looking at someone starting between July and September. So if you're sat there now thinking, maybe you have offered a placement before and it's been a while, or maybe you haven't, but you could be interested, now's a good time. You can advertise as early as October. Some people will have secured something already, but equally quite a lot of students will just focus on their studies and like to wait till their studies are kind of out the way. So we often get quite a surge from May time over the summer, looking and securing things fairly late. So yeah, July to September sort of start time, and a real wide range. I mean, you're talking about all these subjects here, technology, engineering, the business, the arts, digital marketing, tourism, maths, stats, different sciences, psychology, accounts, finance. So a real wide range there. And again, just view that individual that you have as another member of the team, like they will be your employee. So there'll be that, obviously, that initial bedding in time. But again, it's amazing how quickly people can get up to speed and just be getting on with the work and being part of the team. So I thought what could be useful is just to mention, really, local based placements. Is there sufficient demand? We do get asked that sometimes, and the classic thing that can come up with a student, there's nothing down here, nothing down in the southwest. And as we know, there's loads. So that's part of our role in careers, is to be highlighting just how much there is down here. And from an employer perspective, I thought I'd just highlight, computing, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, just as examples. So in the 1920 cycle, before COVID came along, for computing, which is one of our kind of very engaged subject areas, we had 60 students on placements, and 24 of those were based in and around the Plymouth area. A student can do a placement anywhere. If they're from Birmingham or Nottingham or whatever, they might want to go home, and that's completely and utterly understandable. But we have a lot that are from the area. We have a lot that like to stay in the area. The ideal scenario would be maybe there's a house of 4, 5 or 6 students that can all secure a placement in and around Plymouth, so they can all live together, work, earn their money, and have a good year. Mechanical engineering, 42 on placement in that cycle, 8 Plymouth based. That was just mainly due to a sort of low number of roles that were available in and around Plymouth. When you look at the 2021 cycle, COVID hit cycle, 14 went out in placements, and 6 were Plymouth based. And similar with electrical engineering, about 50%. So the key thing really, I think the message is, if we advertise something in and around Plymouth, a commutable distance from Plymouth, they get filled. They always do. There's always high demand. We just need the opportunities through. And I've just listed some of the examples of the businesses that we've worked with consistently with PSP, but Plymouth as a region. So yeah, hopefully interesting to know. I'm sure that you'll all recognise the different names, and I'm sure that if you've not engaged with placements before or internships, and maybe you know someone from that company, that could be a good person to speak with. And Plymouth as a whole, we work quite closely with the Plymouth Manufacturing Group, so a fair number of engineering companies down there. But just to sort of highlight, BMW, IBM, VW, Bentley, GE, Bosch, etc. Our students go far and wide, and yes, many will want to go to those sort of setups, but equally many will want to be working locally for some fantastic companies as well. So that's your kind of region focus on placements. So your kind of the placement year, that's your 12 months option, and not all students necessarily want to do 12 months, which is entirely fair enough. And in the same way, not all employers can offer something for 12 months, and we completely appreciate that. So internships is another angle, another way that you can get engaged, and something which is really picking up momentum, and only something that we've actually been doing for the last year, actually. Placements we've done for like 30 years. Micro internships we're talking about here is just something quite new. So these are very bite-sized experiences of up to 2 weeks, over 3 cycles. So we've got the summer cycle coming up. So they're typically over a vacation period. And the aim is that a student would be working on a sort of small project with you, for you, over that 2 weeks. And obviously, whilst they're doing that, they're gaining work experience. Again, you might possibly be thinking, how much can get done in 2 weeks? But it's actually incredible to see what students can do in that period of time. And we've kind of doubled the amount of students that are going out on these experiences, and we're working with more and more hosts, we call them. So initially, this was focused internal to the uni, just to see how they would work. And in the Easter cycle, we worked with our first 7 or 8 external hosts, and they've all worked out very well. So there's some examples below of the kind of the job titles or the internship titles. Quite a lot around marketing, social media. We had our first with sort of engineering and building within that team in the university. External, we've had quite a lot around the sort of the marketing side, mainly business marketing, accounts. I'll mention a little bit more shortly because we've got a summer campaign around this, so I'll touch upon that. But micros, there's a lot that they can actually get done in that period of time, and it's another very good way to potentially see what an individual could be like. And maybe if you're thinking of offering a placement, this could be a good way of finding somebody before offering them a longer term role. So those are our micro internships. Internships and part-time work. Just wanted to sort of highlight the other ways that you can engage from a sort of an internship angle. So probably reverse order, really. Summer internships, I've mentioned we've got a summer micro cycle. That's for the 2 week bite size. If it were that you thought, actually, it'd be good to have someone for a month to 3 months, you can have, absolutely advertise something for that period of time and employ them for something much longer. So over a summer, but not quite a year. And I wanted to mention our Santander Employability Scheme internship offer. So aside from what I've mentioned so far, each cycle we normally have some funding via Santander, the bank. And in previous years, it's been around graduate level internships. This year, it's grad, but also an undergrad focus as well. So there's a small pot of funding available. So there's no cost to the business. And actually, the student would work for up to 100 hours with a business, focused again on some sort of small project and associated tasks. If it's during term time, then you could have someone for up to 20 hours a week. over 5 weeks. If it was a graduate, you can just have them up to 100 hours at 37 hours a week. And the key thing with that is at the end of the experience that we're able to pay the individual a bursary payment as a sort of one-off payment at the end of it. So you have these sort of things every now and then that pop up where there is funding available. It's been quite consistent with Santander, so we're hopeful that next year it's the same or something very similar. But long story short, always ask the question, because there might be something available, and if it's not direct to the student, it could be via the employer. So those are your internships, but also worth mentioning part-time work. We have students always on the look for something, of a casual basis. And again, via the career service, you can absolutely advertise something. So you might not think in your mind that what you have is necessarily a placement or an internship. It might be that you actually need somebody throughout the year for a certain number of hours each week. And students can do up to 20 hours a week in theory. So if you've got something that could be of a more kind of part-time casual work basis, that's absolutely something we can help advertise direct to the student network, and that we can help with. And there's always high demand. For obvious reasons, that's been massively hit because of COVID, and we're really hoping that if all things go to plan and things improve, that we have a bit of a bounce back in all of these areas, and we have a number of roles for our students and grads. So those are your internships and part-time work. So in summary, placements around a year, internships, you're looking at something over a summer or a bite-sized experience like a micro, but you can also advertise anything of a part-time nature as well. So calling all PSP tenants, here's a little plug for the summer cycle, micro internship cycle. So I've mentioned the micro internships. We've got a bit of a campaign going at the moment with students titled Make Your Summer Count. So that went out a few weeks ago. We've got around 90 plus students that have registered their interest. And what we're hoping to do is just get as many opportunities as we can together as a micro internship for a bite-sized 2-week experience, with them helping you on some sort of a small project. And yeah, we've got a good number internal to the uni, which is fantastic. But we're looking to work with more and more as we can, external with PSP tenants and our colleagues at the Brixham Labs and Cornwall Innovation Centres and any local businesses that could be interested. I've put just a selection of the kind of titles that we've had through in the last couple. But just as a sort of example, there was a wedding venue that we worked with in the last cycle, and the student did help with some sort of marketing and a bit of a kind of competitor analysis and a bit of a horizon scan, as we call it, to see what the market's doing and competitor analysis in that way. We've had students assist in procurement and finance. We even had one in careers ourselves, and they helped with some different evaluations that we wanted to put together for students, and we've now got those ready for the next cycle. So there's really a lot that a student can do. I won't say any more, but that's our plug. But if you're interested, it's sort of deadline, so to speak, isn't too far away. It's still far away enough for us to have a separate conversation if you're interested. 19th of May is our sort of deadline for opportunities through, because there's quite a bit of admin we've got to do with advertising them all and getting all that sorted. We actually, for now, we once we've advertised your opportunity, we actually do the shortlisting and coordinate that process as well. So it's a very, very organised, put on experience for you as a host as well. And the cycle is between June the 28th and the 13th of August. So you could have somebody within that period or a couple of people, but like I say, up to 2 weeks. So if you're interested, you've got the internship email at the bottom there, but equally my email at the end, you can come to me directly. It's not a problem at all. Internship projects. Now, what I've mentioned so far is everything that we run and host via the careers service and our team. I just wanted to mention and highlight that, again, there's some other projects around the university that are also available to local businesses. So I'm not leading on these myself, it's colleagues in different areas and different teams external to careers. But it's just to highlight really that Plymouth, again, are very good at winning these, the sort of funding for these and setting these projects up. So for example, in Cornwall, you've got fantastic project access through Innovation 2. So that's for Cornish SMEs, part funded internships, and you've got a web page there. Epic 2, another Cornish one, with part funding. Low Carbon Devon, and I believe Chris is the lead for the internships with that project, is speaking on the next webinar in June. So Chris can be here to answer all those questions, but that one's just getting going, and that's got 75% funding. Got very much a sustainability, low carbon theme. Fantastic project. And colleagues in the business school, the iMayflower project, also have some funded internship via the business school, and you've got the web page there as well. So that's the kind of classic thing, really, that these projects might be around for 2-3 years. It's a kind of case of make the most of them whilst they're available. If you're interested or would like to be introduced, feel free to let me know and I can make that intro for you. But View Careers is that kind of gateway for us to help make introductions as well. Okay, that's nearly me done, and I'll be passing over to Annette shortly. I mentioned earlier about raising company profile. So I've talked through the different kind of ways that recruitment and attracting talent in that respect. Raising profile for a business is always important, obviously. And we work with a growing number of employers that, you know, are new each year, or some that we work with every cycle and have for many years. So by that, we're talking about the different events that we run. And there's a number of employer promotional kind of activities that you can get involved with. So you've got your very traditional careers and recruitment fairs. We have those normally in November and February time. We did have them virtual this year for the obvious reason, and they did work well. We're just figuring out quite what they're going to look like in October or November, but your careers fairs still very much got a place, and very good way of getting in front of students. We've also got different competitions that you can get involved with. You may not have heard of Flux, but it's a kind of Dragon's Den mixed with the apprentice style business scenario competition. We have a few each year, and we look for scenarios to be set. The students work on their kind of business case throughout the day. The employer engages throughout the day. They meet the students and sort of pretend to be experts from different areas of the business to ask questions so the students can kind of mold their business case. So the Flux competition, again, is another good way of getting in front of students. Got creative CV competition. We have something called the Employer in the Foyer. So again, you might not be able to get involved with the bits I've mentioned so far, but in normal times, in the entrance to the library, goes into the careers hub where we are. You can have a table and a banner, and you can meet students throughout the day. We've also got different employer talks and workshops. It might be that you're interested to offer a talk yourself, in which case we can host that. We also have, through the placements piece that we run, in the second year, my colleagues run different sessions with students all about placements, and we always look for different employers to come in and talk about their business and the opportunity that they might have. So that's a very good way of getting in front of a lecture theatre of students. We run mock assessment centres. We've got a new panel insight series, which is really picking up momentum. So that's where we look for different experts from industry and different businesses to talk to students about their career and the sector and that type of thing. Those are proven really popular. So that's you know, it isn't always that we work with employers that offer placements and internships. Some like to just kind of get involved with these and then offer something at the grad level, and then others will offer placements, internships, but also do one or more of these activities. And overall, that's obviously a really good way of getting in front of students and getting your profile raised. So that's your raising profile bit through the events, and I think this is my last slide. So all of what I've mentioned today is possible via our My Career platforms. We've had this for about 2 years now. It's a fantastic platform for the students and employers. So from a student angle, they can log on, set their different preferences for what they're looking for, get alerts, job alerts, that type of thing. And from an employer angle, you can advertise an opportunity at any time via this platform. You can get your account set up for free, advertise via the platform, see how many clicks click-throughs you've had and applications, but all the events that I've mentioned as well. With a bit of a browse, you can see what we're offering and you can book onto the events yourself. So the My Career platform is a fantastic offer, free to you. We can help get you set up, but it's also pretty simple to get yourself set up on as well. So if you're not on there already, I'd strongly recommend getting on there. And if you get stuck or have any questions, then obviously just come to me or Annette. We'd be more than happy to help. So I think that's now, yes, that's everything from me. So any questions at the end, obviously. Annette, over to you to talk about mentoring.
Lovely, thank you, Simon, and thanks again, Faye, for as Simon said, having both of us. So hi everyone, I'm Annette. I co-run the mentoring programs here at the university. In December, we managed to get a new team member, Mel. So luckily, now she's come on board, we're able to offer a lot more for the new cycle, which is quite exciting. This is our kind of current branding, so inspire potential, awaken possibility. Kind of, we like that. It captures mentoring as it is. Obviously, we do have a website, and also the main mentoring email is there as well. And my personal one is on the end with Simon. So please do get in touch. Next slide, please. So the main thing we get asked a lot is, what actually is mentoring? We bang on about mentoring to anybody who will listen, but actually, what is it? So the idea is, throughout our programs, whether they're one-to-one or whether they're group, the idea is that you are able to offer some kind of advice or information, your experiences to a student. Our main aims across all of the programs are to try to increase, obviously, the awareness of the sector or the career that the student wants to go into, but also just improve their general knowledge as well as skills. The skills are very important to students. So whether that's particular employability ones or the more personal skills, confidence and leadership really do kind of spring out. And a lot of our students do comment that actually their confidence has been raised a lot throughout the program. So we're really trying to focus on that, as well as just kind of trying to branch out as well. So students may, depending on what year they're in, they may have no idea what they want to go into, or they may have a very specific idea. But either way, we're looking to kind of say, yes, you can do this. Have you thought of this? So the mentor is really there to work with the student, try to kind of coax some ideas out. Every student has an action plan of what they'd like to get out of the mentoring program, and we do that with the student in our training. So there is some kind of pathway to follow, but as a mentor, you know, you're just trying to offer that opportunity to get the student talking, and offer some experience and knowledge to them. We have had the likes of Argon and Arcadis and Magic Seaweed mentor before. We're very lucky to have employers from not only the UK but abroad. So obviously this year, with a lot of our programs going completely online, that was even better for them. So we do welcome mentors from any sector and any location. And next slide, please. So at the moment, we currently run, well, from the September onwards, we'll be running 5 programs. The first is our employer specific. So at the moment, we're working with Babcock. This year we did a pilot where we took business and engineering first year students and worked specifically with them, and that went really well. And we also have the remaining ones, which are on the slide. So our big push really is our professional mentoring programs. Now, some of you may have heard of these before. We did the traditional November to April, but as I say, now we have Mel as well. We're able to expand that. So we're also running a February to July. So across each of those 6-month periods, you will get matched up with a student. Mel and I do the matching. And then once the students attended training, you are both kind of off on the program. You have a Meet Your Mentor event, which we run, so that the first session, whilst you be in your own individual breakout room, you do have the support of me and Mel there as well, in case there was any questions. And then you sort out the remaining 3 sessions throughout those 6 months, whenever suits you and the student best. We have a brand new one this year, which is our diversity mentoring group. So different for 2 reasons. One, it's a group, not one-to-one. So we're looking at approximately 12 students to 3 mentors. And this group is particularly for our Black students and our ethnic minority students. The professional mentoring one is open to all, but priority goes to what we call our widening participation students. So any student that falls under Black and ethnic minority, care leaver, disability, low participation neighbourhood, and mature students. If our students fall under any of those categories, we try to priority match. The reason for that is because we found that those students tend to have kind of less opportunities. So we're trying to ensure that they have a better outcome. And by prioritising their matching with the mentoring, we hope to really kind of push that forward. And then finally, we have our online mentoring, which is kind of all year round, and that is Plymouth Connect. That is specifically for our students, alumni and staff of the University of Plymouth. So it's a great way to log on, connect with each other, network. As a student, you can then search out mentors. So you can kind of, as a mentor, you can log on, do the networking and skill searching yourself, or you can opt to be an e-mentor, which is how students would find you. It sounds a bit ominous, but it's not meant to be. The idea is you then work together over a semester, and that is quite a hands-off for us. We kind of leave that one to you. It is very student-led, because obviously the students have to find the mentor first. But again, we offer resources, so the action plans, some one-to-ones, just to try and support you through that, so you're not entirely left by yourself. So that is our all of our programs we run. Obviously, there's far more information on our website, as well as we've got some e-flyers that were made this year. So if you are interested, we can always send you those as well. Next slide, please. Lovely, thank you. So one of the big things we also get asked is, what type of things do I cover as a mentor? So our programs are career focused. We do not expect mentors to be counsellors or anything like that. We have other services in our uni for that. So if a student has a particular vulnerability, then we do say, obviously, come back to us and let us support you with that. As the main aim is around kind of career aspirations. So any of these, there's lots of examples on this slide, but the main 5 are around advice, knowledge, experience, information, and resources. And it doesn't matter if you've been in the job 5 minutes or 50 years, the experience you can give is always one step above what a student has experienced. So whether you've just graduated, you could then experience or tell them the experience of maybe a mock interview or an assessment centre, or how you search for those grad roles. And whether you've been there, long-standing member of the team, you can then explain perhaps how roles have changed, what particular skills are needed, what is the more relevant kind of insights into the industry that you now know. So you can offer lots of different things across any of those programs. Next slide, please. So we don't leave you as mentors once you've signed up and a match. We don't just say, that's great, off you go. We do offer a lot of support alongside. So if you are new to our programs, we do suggest that you attend our new mentor training, just to kind of get you up to speed and kind of offer some more kind of peer support as well. Obviously, the mentoring team is Mel and I, as part of the wider career service. So we are all here to support. We do regular newsletters, so kind of monthly emails with a newsletter, as well as having catch-up events, which are optional, and a mentor handbook, which students also get their version as well. So there's always something to refer to if for any reason you couldn't get through to Mel or I. And in the last year, we've also used Teams as a way of trying to get extra information and kind of build up a bit of a community. Big question, why should you do it? Why should you spend your time helping a student? So lots of reasons. Obviously, I'm going to back it because that's my job, but I have also been a mentor as part of this in my previous role. And I was one of those that were like, I really like the idea, but I don't really know what I can support with. So it was really nice to go through a cycle before I then took over the program. And, you know, it's great to be able to offer just your insights. You know, my mentee wanted to know a bit about social care, so it was great to be able to give her my past experiences and also get her in touch with some of my friends that are colleagues in the sector. So she was able to do some kind of shadowing, so that was great. But it's just nice, you know, there's lots of different reasons. A lot of our mentors say it's good to give back, which is what Simon alluded to at the beginning. But also it's about your own development. You can, you know, learn new things every day. Every day is a school day. Give back, but ultimately have fun. The idea is that this is not meant to be a laborious, you know, oh, you've joined the mentoring program. It's meant to be a good thing, a good fun thing to do. We like to be able to try and, you know, persuade people to join us and then make it a big mentoring community. We offer quite a few workshops for the students along the way. So as Simon was saying about the employer panels and workshops, we try to do similar things. And we have both the Meet Your Mentor event and a big celebration event, which obviously at the moment is online, but it has been in person in the past, and I can't wait to get back to big events and hopefully next year. So there's a real sense of trying to get everybody together and show off the successes, and also be recognized as a mentor. You know, it's great to have that kind of written down for all to see, really. Next slide, please. So this slide is very wordy, but I just really like the quotes and I was so pleased with them. I was trying to put as many in as possible. Perhaps on the hindsight was not the best way to do it, but these are just 3 of our mentors that have currently finished the cycle we've just had. And it also shows the difference of mentors. So Anna is from a health background, Jason's in engineering, and Nina's in publishing. But what's really nice is where they've spoken about, luckily, how good their program was. They also kind of show what they've covered. So as you can see there's a lot of things around interview questions, interview techniques, discussion about placement, just giving your perspective. So again, it just enhances what we said before. There is a vast majority of things you can talk about, and whilst it is student led, we do find that the students have their idea of what they want to talk about, but it just opens up so much in discussion, which is amazing. Next slide, please. So hopefully you've sat and listened and perhaps thought, actually, yeah, this isn't too bad, this sounds good. So if you do want to join us, obviously we'd love to have as many new mentors as possible. Now we're doing all of these new programs. We want to try and build our mentor bank as big as we can to offer this opportunity out to as many students as possible, because it does work. It is a great program. Lots of our students find it so beneficial, so we just want to be able to make it bigger and bigger, really. So if you want to join us or just find out a bit more, we are holding some information sessions. So our next one is in June and then July. So please do, lots of ways to get in touch. Email the mentoring, email me personally, find us on LinkedIn. Both Mel and I are on LinkedIn. So whichever way you'd like, please do get in touch, and then we can share with you all the information, the flyer, and get you signed up to any information sessions if you'd like. And then you'll have a link if you'd like to officially join us. So no pressure, but we can add that to the next email if you'd like to. But we are more than happy to also, if you can't make those June, July events, just get in touch with us and we'll have one-off chats. That's not a problem at all. And I think that is it, I believe. I think our last slide is a thank you very much for listening to us wobble on slide. And if you've got any questions, please do let us know.
Thank you very much, Annette. Simon, that was excellent. I have had a few questions coming in, so I think you were bang on time, so I have to give you a round of applause for that. So well done, you two. So so first question I would say is, have you noticed an increase in average salaries that placement students are expecting as a result of lockdown and remote working?
Yeah.
Regionally, I think people have realised they can work anywhere now. So.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. Not really, to be honest with you. The kind of range that I gave there is still very much the range. And actually, to be honest with you, that has kind of been that 16.5 to 19, I'd say is the kind of level that we would quote that has been the average for, you know, a good few years now.
Right, so there's not been a noticeable change in
no, I wouldn't
expectation.
say so. No, I wouldn't say so. And yeah, obviously, what I should have said is, obviously last year with everything that happened, things had to change very quickly. The students just follow what the business does and everything. And in this cycle, you know, students were starting their placement knowing full well that it wouldn't start in person and it's had to be virtual. You know, just an entirely different experience. And many of them will have done that the whole time, and maybe now just doing a day or two in person. So I should have said that whatever happens, COVID or other, you know, they're with you for that period of time, employed by you, and they're following the procedures and government guidelines and everything that we all have to.
Yeah. And another question is, you sort of put up the courses that are actually offering placements at the moment. Is the university's intention to extend that to other courses and other sectors? Because I know things like biomedical scientists and things like that for the sort of science subjects, there's probably kind of an unmet need there for people getting hands-on experience.
Yeah, I could have added more subjects to the list
okay.
I had there. Yeah, so that was your kind of your typical average set of subjects. Biomedical, we do, you know, they can do a placement as well.
Okay.
A whole range of different sciences that they can do. I think I put psychology on there as well. So yeah, pretty much any subject you can think of, there normally is an option to do a placement.
Excellent.
We found a big increase in students from biomedical in our mentoring programs in the last 2 years. So it does show that they really want.
Well, they're certainly in demand at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another question, internships wise, is 2 weeks enough to see any benefit to a business for the amount of effort they have to put in?
Yeah, no, it's a good question, but I probably, when these first sort of came out about a year ago, I probably was in a similar mindset. You know, what can someone get done in that period of time, and for a business angle, there's that level of investment, I suppose you could call it. But having seen what individuals have been able to do and achieve in that short period of time, it isn't that they need hand-holding the whole time and everything. It's you know, once the project is kind of clearly defined and there's an application process, you know, the student has to apply and everything. So there is that element, obviously, of checking in and everything. But so far, we've definitely seen, you know, positive feedback from students and the hosts. So I would say yes, there absolutely is. You know, it's the classic thing. What we've seen so far is, and even in my, you know, teaming careers, there's often various things that we'd like to always get around to do, and that could be a summer project and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And actually, those types of projects can make a really good micro internship. So it's a benefit to you because someone else is starting to make inroads on something, and they're gaining a number of skills and something for their CV at the same time.
Excellent. I should probably mention that once the restrictions and ease a little bit, we're hoping to start getting you guys to sort of attend a drop-in session again like we had pre-COVID at the Science Park, so people will be able to just sort of knock on the door and come and say hello and talk through possible opportunities to work with the businesses. So a quick mentoring question. With the online mentoring, the Plymouth Connect, Annette, is that just internal only for Plymouth University graduates and staff, or is that open to anybody?
The Plymouth Connect is, yes, that's exclusive to staff, students and graduates of Plymouth University, but all the other programs are open to everybody and anybody. Okay,
and one other mentoring question. Does the mentor get to see the student's action plan?
Yes.
Yes, they can.
Yeah, we do the action plan with the student in the training, and then as part of the which is why we try and make a big thing of it, because we explain to them in their first meeting at that Meet Your Mentor to share the plan, talk through the plan, negotiate, actually, can we do X, Y and Z, or does it actually need the mentor to perhaps find a colleague to bring in? to support on some bits, because obviously we realise students have quite high expectations, and it might be that the mentor can't answer all these questions. That's absolutely fine. So it's about using their own resources as well. But yes, it is encouraged to share in that first meeting, so you both kind of plan a way forward together.
Cool. And probably one final question, I think. I'll check my list. The employer in the foyer, is that free? And do you promote that to particular sectors? So if you're an IT company, can you make sure that all the IT computing science students are aware of you coming along?
So we would absolutely, we would put something out via the My Career platform to say that this particular employer is in, and you know, if we've got correspondence at that time with the academics from that area, for example, we've mentioned to them in the hope that they could mention that that employer would be in the foyer. And is it free? That's a very good question. I think currently it is, but I'd have to double check, to be honest with you. It's been a little while since we've had somebody.
It's got a very catchy name, so it appealed to me instantly.
Yeah, no, they've worked out really well, and in the short time that we had them, you know, it's a really good way just to kind of be there. And there's something, I think, hopefully Annette would agree, but there's that element with students that they like to book in for appointments and all that kind of stuff, but they also quite like to swing by, and our drop-ins for different things that we do always are popular. So to know that there's no kind of something that's not too formal, that they can literally just drop by and have a chat, really does appeal. But equally, it's in the entrance to the library.
So
it's
a perfect place.
So many students coming in and out, and because they're walking past, they'll drop by.
Excellent. Lovely. Okay, well, I think that was all the questions that I got on the chat. So just remains for me to say thank you so much to both of you for taking time out today to talk to us. I hope everyone that attended found it useful. We will share the recording with the registered delegates, and it'll also be available on our YouTube channel. So please take a look if you didn't get to see it live.
Can I say one more thing? But just before we finish, I should have just mentioned about degree apprenticeships as well, but I understand my colleague Louise has been in touch, and I think she's having some info sessions coming up apparently.
Yes, we'll definitely include that in the follow-up email. And I think we had some stuff in the newsletter either this month or last month as well. But yes, that's another excellent program that's going on.
Yeah, really cool. Good. And those info sessions will be really, really good as well.
Excellent. Okay, no worries. So final if you could just stick the final slide on, Simon. We're hoping you guys will be able to join us same time next month, 11 o'clock on Wednesday, the 2nd of June, when Chris Woodfield will be talking about the low carbon Devon project, and we'll be discussing how he can help your business take actions against the climate emergency. So I hope you can join us again then. So thank you, everybody, and cheerio.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.